Welcome back to Q Dads, guys. I'm Ben, and yes, we recently covered the first episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and after a weekend of binging the show, like many out there, we're going to give you our honest opinion and whether you should watch it or not. Now, usually we'd give you a quick recap of the show, but today I'm going to do something a little bit different and dive straight in with my review, giving you the key features of the show that I enjoyed and those that just didn't quite sit right with me. But quickly, do I recommend this show? Yes, but only if you've seen the animation before, or if you have a younger audience at home, and I'll tell you why now. Let's end on a positive note and talk about those changes that were noticeable of the show. The first being the opening and the fact that they introduced Aang before he was trapped in the ice. Now, as I mentioned in our episode 1 breakdown, I was happy that they did swing back around and also added in the opening monologue with Gran Gran. Obviously, the biggest difference with the Netflix show sits with Umoshu. That seems to be some kind of hub for everything. Secret tunnels, the spies, mechanical ongoings, and a lot of things that you don't actually see until later on in the animated series, or even in the second season. The way they portrayed Boomie as well was completely different. In this live action series, they had him more of a resentful character, focusing more on his annoyance of Aang's absence for the past 100 years. Plus, they made the character look a bit too unrealistic for my liking. I also feel like we skimmed massively over the Earth tribes as well. From what I remember, the animated series, they played a larger part in the first season. And on top of all that, I'm actually pretty sure that Aang learned how to waterbend in the first season, or at least practice his waterbending skills. Yet, in this Netflix version, they seem to completely gloss over the fact that he needs to master all of his skills. And they spent more time focusing on the lore and the history of the show. Which of course I'm not complaining about, as it was nice to see these flashbacks and backstories. Although, they did do a lot more of telling us rather than showing us what happened. But anyway, let's not just focus on the elements that were there and focus on the things that the show got right. At least for me anyway. I think the inclusion of the spirit world was a lot more detailed and managed to give us depths of the characters' backstories, and allowing us to see characters like Sokka and Katara in a whole new light. With Katara and Sokka facing the many-faced spirit, I found the insights to their youth, told in a live action, refreshing and actually tugging on my heartstrings for a moment, especially with Sokka.
The truth is, not everyone is meant to have people's lives in their hands.
I think I've learned to appreciate this character in a whole new light. And speaking of seeing characters in a new light, I want to touch on Prince Zuko. Now, I mean, the whole cast list for me was absolutely fantastic, and the reoccurrence of some lost actors was also brilliant, but I felt that I was really rooting for Prince Zuko in this. Not only his interaction with his uncle, but his overall story. I think for the animated version, my main focus was on Aang and Katara, as we watched their relationship blossom. Again, something that was missing from this version. But throughout the series, I actually felt sorry for Zuko, the trouble that he went through with his family, and also finding the Avatar. Yet his caring nature was highlighted in even more detail. This was something I enjoyed, and by the end of the series, I was actually rooting for Zuko, which makes me look forward to his journey in Season 2. And yes, I will touch on the CGI too. Now, in my episode 1, I did have a little moan about the final moments of the episode, and probably a bit prematurely, as actually watching the rest of the series, the special effects weren't actually that bad. But with that being said, there were a few moments, like when our trio were attacking the Firebender's ships in the last episode, that just felt weird to watch. Seeing them jump off the ship, you could just tell it was fake, and not in a good way. And even though the wind was still blurry for me, I actually appreciated some of it, like the final moments with the moon spirit. Overall though, I did enjoy the show, and it brought back some great feelings for me, and I'm even now watching the animated show again with my little boy. Now, if you know the story and you've seen it before, I would recommend it, or if you have small children, as I think it's a fun, family-friendly show that is worth spending a few evenings a week on bonding over. But if you don't know anything about the franchise and want to try something new, I probably actually wouldn't recommend it. The story can be a little bit confusing with no previous knowledge, and a lot of characters don't work that well without knowing that it was an animation first. But if you have seen this, let me know in the comments your overall thoughts and who was your favourite character. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time with something new.
Secret tunnel, secret tunnel. secret, 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 secret tunnel